Hello guys, hello and welcome to my channel again today. And this is your girl Cancelo B. You can call me your woman on fire. Today I'm here so we can talk about some certain issues. I'm going to be addressing still, it's all about the coronavirus, this novel virus which has come, shutting down the whole world. Almost everyone's life is on hold. Activities have been put on hold, people not traveling, economies going, down the drain on a daily basis, lives being claimed by this virus. There's so much going on. There is so much going on in the world right now. So I'm going to be addressing some certain issues about this virus, what is going on, and just to pick out a message. Like, could there be a message behind this virus? So one of the things I really want to talk about today is, or I want us to look into, is to look at the message behind the coming of this virus. It is pandemic. True, it has claimed lots of lives. It is still claiming lots of lives. What can we pick from it? In other times or other eras where we've had crises, we've known of maybe nations. Let's talk about Haiti, earthquakes, a natural disaster, and nations, different countries all over the world were trying to support, giving basic necessities, basic food, providing shelter, makeshift tents to support those who were in that country at that time who were involved in this drastic disaster. We've known of countries, nations who have been in war, crisis zones, and we've had other countries, other nations come and support, provide food, basic necessities, and see how to assist all those who find themselves in such crisis situations. But now we are talking about a situation in the world where it's not about a particular country, it's not about a particular nation, it's not about a particular continent, it's not about a particular race of people, it's about everyone. We are talking about an era where everyone is involved. I mean, every nation is affected. Every single nation, because the pandemic is on and it keeps going on. So what is the message? In other times, by now a vaccine should have been produced, should have been found, but yet we have hundreds of lives still being lost on a daily basis because we haven't had the vaccine. Now all world powers are trying to come together to see how to address this situation. What is it telling us? That we are all equal. We are all equal. No one is above the other. No one. This virus has come to show us that we are only clays in the hands of the potter. That we are only pencils, and that our Creator can draw us and fashion us and form us the way He wants to. This virus has come to make us understand that no one is superior before another. We are all equals in the hands of the Creator. We are talking about an era where it is not about some nuclear weapons killing people somewhere. It's not about some natural disasters, earthquake, floods, whatever, claiming the lives of people somewhere. We are talking about an era where a virus is challenging science and is challenging human wisdom. So what is the message? This is a time where nations have to work together as one. This is a time where we all have to be open to accept our vulnerabilities and accept that we can learn from one another. The solution to this problem can come from anywhere I tell you, it could come from anywhere. It could come from someone less expected. It could come from a nation where no one would expect that this cure or a vaccine could come from there. This is just to show our vulnerabilities and that we have to be open to each other. As nations, we have to be open to accommodate each other and see others as partners and not rivals. In this era of the pandemic, if we are all open to the message, then we are all going to see that at the end of it, eventually, because we are all praying for it, we all pray for it. At the end of this, when eventually we would have a vaccine, we all would have learned one or two things, and nations will be more united to work together as partners, not fighting and killing each other because we want to gain fame. We want to be known as the world's richest or largest, most powerful countries. Or because we simply just want to exploit other underdeveloped countries. So it is for us to be open to see the message behind this virus. A lot is going on. There's a lot of terror. A lot of things. People are saying a lot of things. People are afraid. People are in panic. But I'm coming today personally with a message of hope. To see an opportunity, in every challenge. To be optimistic. Even when, you look at things and you don't know where to go to from left to right. This is an era where no one is exempted. We have had myths. When this virus came, we can't affect black people. Our systems are immune. No. And now we have African countries having cases which are on the rise on a daily basis. And has claimed the lives of some people as well. So it's not about you being white-skinned, you being black-skinned, whatever race you come from. It's not about you being young or old. Before, there was the concept that this virus could be introduced or could affect only the elderly people. But no, we've heard of young people, contracting the virus. We've heard of young people dying from the virus. It's true, older people are more vulnerable. But the point is, everyone is involved. No one is exempted. No one is exempted. Just imagine this virus has to keep going on and going on and going on the way it is. And the whole world goes to a complete shutdown, and every state, every nation goes into a state of emergency. Question is, who is going to help who? So this is the time when we still have the opportunity, let us come together as one. Let us come together and support each other when we can and in any way we can. Princes are being tested positive. Governors are tested positive. Ordinary people are tested positive. Medical personnel are tested positive. Civilians are tested positive. Every single person is involved. Every single person is involved. This is challenging human wisdom to prove to us that we can't be above He that created us. We can't. And I would like to speak to my African communities today, because I know, in fact, so much is going on back home. There's a lot going on. My dear people, as bad as our government structures may be, let us try to adhere to whatever principles they are putting in place for us to be able to cope and reduce the number of people that can get this virus. Because it is claiming lives. It's not just a virus that comes and okay, it can't kill, you get well. It is taking lives. So we have to put our security and safety first. So just to encourage us, my dear African community, if our government authorities are saying let us stay home to as a way of stopping the spread of this virus, let us try as much as possible to adhere. I know it's so difficult. I mean, we know how our communities are, we know how our settings are. Getting even basic necessities, food, water, is a challenge. And imagine we all have to stay home now. How do we manage? How do we survive? That is why I say this is a period where we have to support each other. I know our African communities, we have been known for looking after each other, showing love to one another. This is a time where we have to do even much more. Look out for your neighbors. Look out for your friends. Look out for your family members. Support each other with whatever you can. Is it food? Is it water? Just make sure whoever is by you can at least have something to eat or drink. This message is coming, or this virus is coming with a message of unity to show us that we have to be one another's keeper. Let us try to go out, when it is extremely necessary, or one person from the family going out to gather supplies for every person. I know how our African community works. We have farms, sometimes we just need to dash out to harvest our crops so we can have something to eat. Let us do this when it is absolutely necessary. So let us stay at home as much as we can, and when it is time to get food supplies, let us dedicate someone who will be able to go out, gather food for the entire family, such that we can be able to survive, because we can't stay home as well and die of hunger. And this brings me, to address our African authorities, our African governments, those who are in authorities. Asking people to stay home means that the government should also try to put in place measures that can enable them survive. The government should try to see how they can support their citizens at this time. This is where it is most important for the government to show their solidarity and to show that they care for and love their people. Those people, those same people who voted them into authority. We all have to come together. We all have to work together. At a time like this, when our economies are not even strong enough, we don't have proper structures. Just imagine our communities having 3,000 cases, 5,000 cases. Where do we keep them? Where are we going to keep them? That is why I'm making this call to appeal to each and everyone to try as much as possible to follow the rules and measures that have been put in place. To follow every measure that's put in place. It's so disheartening to think that, in some of our African countries, some of us don't even believe that the virus exists. This virus is as real as the alphabetical letters we have. It's as real as ABC. So if you're one of those who still thinks and believes that this is all ranting, this virus doesn't exist, then you have something else coming. And that is why I'm making this appeal for us to try to follow these measures that our authorities are putting in place. we all know that we have bad government structures. We all know that. We all know that our economic system is not that strong. This virus has challenged strong economic systems. I'm telling you guys, this virus has. What more of our own economic system whereby we are barely struggling? If we're to have this number of cases, how are we going to cope? Let us put our safety at the forefront. Let us stay home and be safe. Wash our hands, keep the social distancing, even when we have to go out in public to get our basic necessities like food, because obviously we won't stay home and die of hunger as well. But then this should be the measured reason why we should leave our houses. Not for any other reason, not to go out and drink and get drunk because with myths going about that alcohol is a solution to this virus. No. Let us stay home and be safe. Stay home with our families. African authorities, I'm addressing African authorities now. This is not a time for greed. This is not an era for greed where we have to keep monies in our ceilings, have monies in accounts, maybe even frozen. This is not a time for us to keep those monies under our beds or in secret safes. This is the time for us to help our people. This is the time for you to help your people. This is not an era of greed. It's not. I know in situations like this, we have some people of authority who are only looking for a way to exploit even the citizens who are struggling. No. This is a time for each and every one of us to be compassionate, to be empathetic towards one another, not to be greedy. It is also a time for our African communities. I know we are known for looking after each other. This is the time where we have to do even more. Support one another. Call your neighbors. Look out for them. Look out for your family members who are far off. Maybe you don't live together. They're in other towns, other cities. Do they have something to eat? Help one another. Just giving, that water you fetch and you're helping a neighbor out with some of it. That is a lot. During this period, that is a lot. This is a time where we all have to come down from our high horses, from those places of authority where we think we are so up there and we can't come down. This is the time for everyone to come down and put all the cards on the table and say, what can we do? How do we fight this as a people, as a nation, as a continent, as the world? How do we do this? This is a time for world unity. This is also a time, like I said, for me, I am looking at the positive message. I am looking at the positive message behind this crisis situation in which we find ourselves in. There's a lot of panic, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of terror. But our mental health is very important as well. So that is why I'm encouraging each and every one of us to see the positive message. If we are staying home, what can our staying at home do for our lives? There were many marriages that were at the verge of breaking. But now we have been asked to stay home. So why not stay home and rejuvenate those marriages? Why not stay home and rejuvenate those relationships? There were people who were so busy, who did not have time for their kids. We have been asked to stay home. Why not stay home and develop that bonding with your children, with your family? This is a time where we have to think out of the box. See every opportunity in every challenge. See an opportunity in every challenge. Think out of the box. Being at home doesn't mean you just have to sit, eat, drink, sleep, watch TV. No, you have to be creative. What can you do? What can you do from home? What can you do at home? What can you think? All the book writers, sit at your quiet moment now and put down those scripts. All the movie writers, sit down and be creative. Write down those scripts and come up with something epic when all this is over. This is a time to be creative. We all have to think out of the box. And when I'm making an appeal for people to stay at home, it's because if we don't, there will be so much pressure on the health system. I mean, look at the Western world. With all the resources, the finances, there is pressure on the health system. What about our African communities? If we have this kind of pressure, how do we manage them? Let us be considerate by being safe, following the measures to prevent the spread of this virus so that we can reduce the burdens on our health system as well. Whatever we can, whatever role we can play, let us do well to play it to the best of our abilities. Build your family. This is a time where families have been asked to stay home, to stay safe. If you were not talking with your family member, if you were not in good terms with anyone, this is a time for you to make peace. This is an era of peacemaking. This is not an era of hatred. This is not an era, of hate speech. This is not an era of cursing anyone. This is an era of showing love to each and everyone we come across. This is an era of peace. So let us use these opportunities. This is an era of creative thinking. Why staying at home? What can you do? What can you create? Don't just stay at home. I know of people back home in Cameroon are doing wonderful things. Producing hand sanitizers, looking for all sorts of bottles to put them in. People are being creative. Don't let this era pass without you picking out a message or without you taking something out of it. It's like we all are in school, we are all in a learning phase. We are all in a learning process. This virus has come to teach us. This virus has come to teach us. So I do hope that each and every one of us can pick up the message, can pick up a message from it. Let us do our best and leave the rest to our Creator to take care of, because He's got the whole world in His hands. Thanks for watching, guys.